Hello, class. This is Ofelia Madrigal. I hope your day is going great and that you are enjoying this class as much as I do. Definitely it's challenging. However, it not only allowed me to learn more about sexuality and gender, but also allow me to learn more about myself, what I actually think. Because it's not the same thinking one thing, however, not being able to have to word that something that you believe on. So I really appreciate the opportunity of taking this class. So I'm going to proceed and answer the assigned questions for week 4. What is sexual orientation? Okay, I'm not going to lie. I knew, but I needed to get it from a source that was reliable. So I went to Psychology Today, and according to Psychology Today, sexual orientation is an inherent or immutable, enduring emotional, romantic, or sexual attraction to other people. So sexual orientation, per se, it is what do I feel sexually attracted to? Do I feel sexually attracted to men or to other women? What is my attraction? What is that I feel more gravitated towards? Question number 2, transgender identity. What is a transgender identity? According to Psychology Today, transgender is an umbrella term for persons whose gender identity, gender expressions, or behavior does not conform to the typical associated with the sex to which they were assigned at birth. So there is these two things, transgender identity and gender identity. So gendered identity refers to a person's internal sense of being male, female, or something else. So gender expression refers to the way a person communicates gender identity to others through behavior, clothing, hairstyle, voice, or body characteristics. So transgender identity is who I identify myself as. When I see myself in the mirror, might be something different than I feel from the inside. So we need to be able to identify that so it can match our behavior and there is more congruency. However, if we find there is no congruency between what I see in the mirror and what I feel, what I think, can be definitely painful and confusing. And that can create a ripple effect of lots of negative feelings about the person. So what would be a treatment plan for gender identity? So one of the treatment plans, and this is according to the article of World Professional Association for Transgender published in 2011. So the treatment plan was, I have it here, it would help the client identify ways in which he or she finds comfort with the gender of the self, and thus maximizing their overall psychological well-being and self-fulfillment. So treatment goal, help the client identify ways in which he or she finds comfort with their gender self. So in other words, when the client comes to the office, they are already having, before they even come to the office, they had their inner battle, they have their doubts, they have probably already talked to somebody else, or this might be their first time talking to someone professionally. And when they come, they are obviously in distress, an extreme distress that is affecting their feelings, their mood, which that might be that they're also experiencing anxiety and depression, probably even anger. So it is important for the therapist to be able to identify in which way we can help them feel more comfortable about their gender so they can experience a more fulfillment, more life of fulfillment. So something else that I also found in the internet is that according to the treatment plan, in regards to what is exactly gender identity, I found this other really good information that I would love to share. It says that it is a psychological state that is considered kind of like a mental disorder. The occurs creates a lot of distress and disability in the persona. So that also reminds me of a client that I just had this week. Of course, I am not on a I haven't specialized in this topic. However, I try to be as present as possible. So I make sure that I'm not being biased. So I definitely feel that being present when you have a client with this characteristic, so we make the person feel comfortable and welcome and not rejected, right? So according to the diagnostic of a statistical manual, a mental health disorder, which is the DSM-5, people who experience intense, persistent gender incongruence can be given the diagnosis of gender dysphoria. Some contend that the diagnosis is inappropriate and it pathologizes gender non-congruence and should be eliminated. Personally speaking, I also believe that it should be eliminated. And I also heard that this other agency who regulates these modifications that are done in the DSM-5 are thinking about modifying that and maybe even eliminate it. I also believe that it is a great idea to eliminate it because gender orientation is not a disorder. Okay, so I guess there might be some gender dysphoria. However, I don't believe it is a disorder. So question number 3, gender questioning. When someone isn't sure what they are on the spectrum and gender identity. For example, a teen might feel like their body was formed in a way that doesn't fit who they are. Personally speaking, I do have a granddaughter who I observed since she was a baby. She was very uncomfortable with playing with toys, which we categorize being for a girl. She would feel more attracted to playing with toys, not specifically cars, but more like Batman, more like that kind of toys, like more like masculine toys for boys, kind of. So I start noticing that on her. However, I just stay quiet because I just felt it was not my place to mention that to my stepdaughter. So she had so many problems at school. Learning, she was categorized with learning disabilities. Categorized with learning disabilities, and she had some social problems because she struggled to socialize with other people. However, she, as years passed, they couldn't identify what exactly was her diagnosis. She was not doing well at school. She couldn't interact with other children. She was pretty much fearful most of this time. So when she turned 14 years old, she openly spoke to mom and asked her to refer to her as a boy, not as a girl. Of course, my stepdaughter was surprised, and she made sure that she informed all the family about my granddaughter's decision. And just like magic, everything changed in her life. She became who she was meant to be. She is more social now, and she feels free. So I definitely, when I talk to other clients, that's who I connect with. I connect with my granddaughter and how she felt prisoner of something that was not congruent with the way she was feeling and whatever she was seeing in the mirror. So what is the treatment goal for gender questioning? I have that, first of all, we need to be able to identify it and identify and engage in, this is some of the recommendations, in identify the sexual identity or your preferences, and engage in a wide range of relationships that are supportive of that identity. For example, in this case, let's go back to my stepdaughter. She, of course, she was probably engaging in different range of relationships, not necessarily like boyfriend, girlfriend, but friends. And she ended up feeling more comfortable, maybe feeling more sexual attracted. Going to question number 2, there was a sexual orientation in which she felt more comfortable about, being around girls where she felt sexually attracted. So treatment plan could also be reduce overall the frequency and intensity of this anxiety that is associated with the sexual identity, so that the daily functioning is not impaired. Question 4, how would you attempt to create an empathetic, safe relationship in which your client feels comfortable and honestly discussing her or his challenges and questions? I feel that, as I mentioned, I think I did mention throughout the time that I was answering the questions, that it is very important for us to not be biased and to be open to learn along with our clients and be curious. So it's about asking lots of questions and apply positive, add positive regards, active listening, and explore what are the client's gender concerns and find ways to lessen the gender dysphoria, in addition to help client feel more comfortable in regards to expressing her own identity. So something else that I would like to add, and I found in the internet as well, if you find any articles that you think it will be valuable for me to have on my repertoire, please feel free to add it down here where we post the videos, so I can add it to my list, and maybe when I have clients, I can be able to refer to peer review articles and sound more professional. However, I noticed also that the DSM-5 has a diagnosis, which is the gender identity disorder, which is F64.9. Then down the line, I found 7 ways to support someone who is struggling with the gender, which also applies to question number 4. 7 ways is, the first one is, do not assume you know what their authentic gender is. Okay, so we don't make assumptions, we listen. That's the importance of being present and don't jump into conclusions. So we do not assume. 2, listen. Listen to what the client has to say and let them finish, to expressing about their concerns and what is how they identify themselves. 3, we need to ask lots of questions. And ensure validate clients' feelings and ask for, like, how can I help? We have to offer concrete support. We don't give advices about anything unless we are asked. So we don't give advices. So we have to make sure that we clear that with the client. We keep their confidence. So it's important to just, that's one of the limits of confidentiality. We don't talk about other things with, clients' privacy. And of course, as a therapist, we also need to ask for help, talk to our supervisors or whoever, maybe even reaching out to a support group, not a support group, but a therapist, network with other therapists, so we can also get some feedback and, ask for help. And I think that's it. So looking forward to read you guys' post.